Welcome to PropTech Buzz. I am your host today, Olivia Rizvi. Today we are in discussion with co-founders of Autumn Rooms, aggregators of the world's largest branded student housing platform. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have two remarkable guests who are reshaping the landscape of student housing on a global scale. Meet Mohammed Rafique and Arshad Shahjahan, the visionary co-founders of Autumn Rooms with over 5 years of hands-on experience in the student housing industry. They have gained invaluable insights into its intricacies and untapped potential. Autumn Rooms is on a mission to standardize and elevate student housing worldwide through cutting edge technology, currently operating in the UK, Canada, Ireland, and now expanding to the US, Germany, Australia, and New Zealand. Mohammed and his team are developing proprietary technology that promises to revolutionize the student living experience. Get ready to dive into an inspiring journey of innovation and global impact. Hello, hi, both of you.
Hi, Olivia. How are you?
Hi. So, tell us a little bit about yourselves and your journey so far, please.
Sure. This is Rafique here, one of the co-founders of Autumn Rooms. So we started this 5 years back on a vision to solve the student housing problem faced by a lot of international students, which we both were a few years back. So that's me, and that's Arshad.
Ashit, yeah. So,
Right. So yeah, actually, go ahead.
yeah, so the main reason why we started this is that, we ourselves faced a lot of issues while we were in the UK and, the higher studies. So finding a property was very difficult. Yes, perfect.
Yeah. So that's how the entire idea shaped up, and which gave birth to Autumn Rooms.
Okay, so where did you all study internationally?
I did my degree in Dublin, Ireland, Dublin City University,
Okay.
and Arshad from UK.
I did from UK University of Essex in
Okay.
Southend. Yeah.
And what inspired you to start Autumn Rooms, and what problems did you see in student housing that actually inspired you to start this entire journey?
See, when we go to the overseas for education, see, initially we might not get the housing from the universities or their PBSs. So we have to look for accommodations outside. So getting that is very difficult. So we thought, okay, why not to start that and standardize and make finding these properties a hassle-free process. That's how this
See,
thing started.
one of the main challenges the students faces is not getting the admissions. For getting that, you have thousands of agencies across India,
Yeah.
right? And only 20% of the lucky students are able to get accommodation in the uni itself, right? So rest of the students, they have to find accommodations either in a dedicated facility like what we call PBSAs, or they have to find a house, a private house themselves, right? So finding a private house is very challenging, right? You need to have a lot of things which and first year students will not have. Say, for example, a credit score in that country or a previous landlord references. All those things are something, these new students, they don't have, right? So the only options left is staying in a PBSAs or a dedicated facility, which is very expensive compared to a normal houses. And not only the price point, the kind of the experience that they get in a private house is totally different, right? You have complete privacy. It's like you're living alone, right? I mean, with your friends. So all those
You are
things
more
are missing.
independent.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the key point why we thought, why not turn this to a platform where it helps thousands of students who can just stop worrying about accommodation and start thinking about their future.
And it is like organizing these private houses and standardize a quality for all the students, from all the demographics, from students from India, from China, from the Arabs, everywhere. So we have to standardize these procedures and, kind of rooms they wanted in this.
Okay, so but then how did you two meet? Because you were studying in the UK, you studied in
Yeah,
Ireland. So how
I
did
will.
you find each other?
We were family friends. Our dads were friends. They were business
Yeah,
partners, to be honest. So
we
that's
have other
how.
business as well. We thought,
That
okay,
then
why don't we do it? Yeah.
that's quite interesting. So tell us about Autumn Rooms and what exactly are you all doing? Explain that to us.
See, at Autumn Rooms, we are solving a problem of standardizing the student housing market, right? As I told you earlier, there are three different categories of student houses, right? One is the university accommodations, which is very limited. And then there is the dedicated facilities of student houses, which is again very expensive and very limited in numbers as well. It's only present in top-notch locations like central London or Manchester, all those tier one cities. The students, the main problems the students are facing are in tier two and tier three cities, right? So that's where there is a lack of these facilities, and the houses there, even though the landlords are willing to uh, rent it out to students, it's not properly organized, right? So that's where autumn rooms come in. We, with the help of technology, what we have implemented, we are able to get a mass supply of properties and manage those properties as well for students, which make the life of a landlord easier and as well students as well.
So
So
tell
it's a
us
win-win situation for both of us, both of the students and the landlords. That's
some of the things that y'all actually saw in issues that y'all saw in student housing, and then how did y'all think we need to fix this? Like, tell us some of the issues that were prevalent before, because today it is becoming a market, right? It has become a market where we are trying to organize something that was very unorganized, where there was no proper standardization of food, or there was no governance or rules around how many students can stay somewhere, how they're supposed to be maintained. So tell us a little bit about
See, here the main challenges is the cultural differences which the host country and the source countries is having, right? Students traveling from subcontinents, their expectations are totally different from what the landlords or the property owners are expecting in the host countries, right? And it's different to each country. So every country has its own norms, its own regulations, which usually the students are only getting aware of once they get into a problem, right? Say, for example, each country has specific norms on how many students should live in a property, right? And what is there are licenses in place, there are insurances in place. So these are the things which we are streamlining, right, and standardized, so that student who is going to a country for the first time in his life is everything is streamlined for him. All he has to do is that under read, just click on it, get his space booked, and from day one itself he can start living his life in as a student. Usually, what happens is that everyone is very uh, you know overwhelmed of traveling abroad. Once they reach there, that's when the real problem starts, right? They have to stay in a hostel or a hotel or Airbnbs or with their friends in couches, right? And that takes a lot of time. You will not realize how many times have passed by the time you're found in your house. So what happens is that the student is living in a suitcase, not able to find a proper a part-time job, not able to get settled in a proper area, right? So this typically takes 3 to 6 months time, right,
that.
to find a group of friends who can move in together. So this is what the key areas we are solving right now.
Okay. So, then tell us exactly how Autumn Rooms works. So, you all have a platform, and a student comes in and he wants to live abroad. So, give me the procedure of how he can reach his goal of booking a property through Autumn Rooms.
Exactly. So the student finding a room for a student is just happening on a click of a button, right? So there, so if you ask me about the procedures which goes behind the curtains are much more than what a student. So for a student, it's very simple, right? All he has to do is go to a website, go to a platform, click on his university, and all the list of properties are listed there. And then he can just book whatever suits him with his budget, with his location preferences, and everything. It's there. So what the background works, what's happening is actually the core area. I would say our core strength, right? Aggregating the supply, because demand is something which we are not bothered about, because as you were telling, the numbers are increasing year on year, and more countries are also getting into the list rather than the usual big four countries: US, Canada, Australia, and Ireland, right?
Yes.
So now the main core area we are working is on gathering the supply. So this properties has to be location specific. It has to be on a close proximity to the universities or colleges, right? And it has to be budget friendly. It has to be safe, and the entire process has to be transparent and understandable for the students. So we have made so each country, each locations, even each councils in the UK, for example, right, has different laws, right? And for a student to understand that those laws and read through all those lengthy contracts is it's tough. So that's where
Yes.
we standardize all this procedure, right? And just the points which bothers them, which matters to them, are highlighted, right? So everything is made transparent. So the entire journey is being streamlined in a way that anyone can just book a property and move in from day one.
It is just like, Airbnb is a short-term stay. This is just a long-term stay. It's very simple for the students.
Exactly.
So it's like that.
That's
Yeah.
that's a good way of explaining it. It's like Airbnb for students.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
correct. Yeah.
yeah. It's like, it's very short. I mean, that's how we work. We have a lot of
So,
choices of properties and everything, and you choose what you want.
so, tell us about autumn rooms further. Like, so you all started this 5 years ago, as we saw this, and how has your journey been so far? How have you all grown? What have you all learned? Tell us, give us some insights about this.
So we started from UK, right, which is a very traditional students market, right? Which seeing all these Bollywood movies, I would say, that's where the students will prefer first to go, right? So that's where we started, obviously. And the UK was much more easier market compared to the other markets, which are not traditional students market, right? Because the kind of facilities in those countries, especially like Canada, Ireland, there is no enough facilities for these students. That's where the challenges has been mostly, right? And that's what's been interesting us more than a UK market, right? Because there you have to develop the entire infrastructure from the beginning, right? You have to make understand the landlords, the stakeholders, how these things work, and how the entire process is, what are the benefits which they are getting through this kind of arrangement, and in return the students are enjoying whatever has been placed earlier, and things. So the key challenges has been always been different markets, and also since we've been catering to different demographics, students from, as Arshad was saying, the students from China, students from Middle East, students from the subcontinent. So everyone is coming with different expectations, right? So to meet all those expectations, it's very hard. That's a very area. So the best thing that we've been doing is standardizing the procedure, right? Whether it's the student from subcontinent, whether the student is from Middle East, what they get are the same, right? I mean, it's a high quality houses, right, with all the basic furnitures, so that the experience all the students are gaining, it's to be honest, what we want to make them feel, it's nothing. Like they just moved in, they have everything in there, ready for them, right? So that's the kind of experience that we want our students to have.
So, just for my own clarity, both of you all are co-founders, but what is each of your role in the company? What do you handle, and what does Arshad handle?
So I'm handling business development and marketing mostly. Arshad is handling the operations and
Operations
finance.
in the back end and other stuff here in India.
Okay, so you're more like Arshad, more like the techie sort of role in this company.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
actually the brain behind all the innovation. So then I have a
And,
question for you, Arshad.
Yeah.
What are some of the key innovation solutions that Autumn Rooms has introduced in student housing?
The key innovations are basically we didn't have any app or any softwares or any websites for common students to book the rooms, but we organized that particular market, and we are working on this same like the apps, you know. So we can on a just a click we can get the accommodation anywhere in the. I mean, right now it is only 3 to 4 countries, and we are planning to expand to other countries. So,
Okay.
like when if say you are a student and you want to book a room, so you search online or all these platforms where. So we are streamlining from this backend to reach there. So for you to book or you to see the properties what are available, and I mean the main thing is the trust what we create for the students. So
Ravi, one
students
of the
are
key
trusting us.
challenges, sorry, one of the key
Yeah.
challenges the students after they enter the property is also one of the key areas, right? So finding a property, moving into a property is one thing, right? Which we consider to be the easiest part. Then the real challenges happen once they stay in the property, right? Because it's a property, it's a house, and especially in UK, Ireland, all those houses are like 300 years old or 400 years old. So there might be areas where
Maintenance.
they will, your maintenance issues might come in, right? Even those properties are beautiful. I mean, it's like a hotel kind of ambience and all, right? But they might need a constant support. That's why we have our own dedicated app where students can raise any issues that might come in the property, and our team will be handling it in a couple of hours itself. That's the key areas which we were able to solve. Usually, traditionally, what's
Through
been
the
happening is
technology.
that
And
traditionally what the students were doing is that they've been calling landlords or the agents who gave them the property and then wait for someone to come into the property and solve those issues. That might take days in those property in those countries, right? So here
Yes.
it's been done on a click of button, and all this. So that's the main thing. How we make sure our students are happy throughout. So it's just not a one-time job of giving them a property and making them happy. It's a throughout process which we have to go through with the students.
Okay. And so naturally, the next question is now it's all about technology, right? We are like simplifying, making everything seamless, streamlining everything with technology.
yeah.
So, how has technology enhanced the students' experience who are now living in autumn room properties? Like, how has technology made their lives easier? How has it solved the issue?
See, as I said earlier, the first thing is finding out, right? So that's been made easier with just click of a button rather than flying to those countries, staying in hotels, and looking for property. So that's saving at least 3 to 6 months of a student's life, right? That's the key area, I would say. But again, as I said, once they're in the property, we have to make sure those students are having a comfortable living for another 1 year or 2 years, as many as years they've been staying in a property. So that's where we are more focused on rather than just giving a property. So that's where the technology has been really helping us also, right? And with those technologies in place, we were able to just copy and paste those technologies to different countries and scale on a larger way, rather than so initial first 2 years we are stuck on with just one country. But once we had our complete technology in place, now we are able to expand to other countries on a lightning speed as well. Yeah, so that's one of the key areas where technology has been able to help us to expand the scale and also to solve the students issues and matters as well.
Okay. So we spoke about the challenges that students have faced because of in traveling internationally and not really having an organized system. But can you tell us some challenges that autumn rooms has faced, or these companies that are trying to get or help student housing face while entering into this arena, this
See,
industry?
the challenges as a company that we faced is finding supplies, right? That's the main thing. So we had to create a win-win situation where traditionally where landlords or property owners were not willing to rent it out to students because students being students, it can be really hard for a full-time working landlord to manage those properties, correct? So that's where our technology has been helping these landlords to get a higher return by renting it out to students, multiple students rather than a single family, right?
Yes, yes.
And also have a stress-free rental period as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were
And
able
they
to
have more
gather.
options to us. Yeah. The landlords and the tenant. I mean, landlords have more options. I mean, more students coming in, and we provide them a lot of supplies. That is guaranteed rent for them. So they are on
So
the safer
basically,
hands.
you're trying to say that you become like a mediator, and you kind of streamline the process between the student
Yeah,
and the landlord.
exactly,
So
exactly.
that's the
Yeah,
entire business model is
concept.
Olivia.
Yeah,
So, can you tell us some of the feedback that you have received from students and landlords that has impacted their experience of living
yeah.
abroad through your services?
So then we have to compare the two scenarios: one without autumn rooms and one with autumn rooms for this.
You
So
can do that.
basically, yeah, I feel like the students who've been to the UK or Canada before. I mean, they were finding it the same story what we told you. Like they take 2 to 3 months to find a house, find a good neighborhood, group of friends. But here, what we do is that from the day one, it's a hassle-free stay for students who are coming through autumn rooms. So that's the feedback given by the new students and the students who are there already. The previous students. So I mean, that's one major feedback what we got. Another one is that I mean, to get a property to rent a property in UK or Canada, you need a guarantor. So
Yes,
I mean, when we provide rooms through autumn rooms, they don't need a guarantor. We are there as a guarantor, and that process is being simplified. And students going from India, especially, they need a 12 months upfront rent. So what we
yes,
do is that we collect the rent on a monthly basis. So the burden
okay,
is reduced from the students, the financial burden. So
yes,
that's a very big relief for the students who going abroad there.
okay.
So yeah,
So that's a major thing, Olivia, because the students as already are already burdened up with huge loans for paying their tuition fee, right?
Yes,
And usually they are unaware of this accommodation process while they are applying these bank loans and everything, right? So
yes,
once the visas are in, and that's when they are worried about the accommodations. Okay, so that's when they understand that the market you need to have a guarantor or you have to pay 12 months upfront, right? Then they have to take this burden of increasing the loans or getting money to make sure the accommodation is ready. So that's one feedback we've been getting from our students that it really helped them to reduce the burden of loans and there's huge payment plans which is being given by all the property managers across. So this is we take really good pride in that too because we were able to help make a difference in a small way at least. That's a huge feedback. Rather than, of course, finding a house which made them start their life from day one also is there. But as personally, we both believe this has been a major breakthrough
feedback.
for students.
so
And from the landlord side, which you asked, of course, they were able to. So most of the landlords are listing more properties. That means it's been very financially viable for them to add more properties with us, and also we make sure they are not disturbed throughout the rental period. All they have to do is check their bank account on first of every month to make sure the rent is credited or not.
so um just out of my own inquisitivity, um,
Yeah.
what how can students pay on your platform? So is it just like they make one balloon payment, or they have various payment plans that you can probably use?
So we the most of our payment plans are they pay just first month rent while they book the property on a month deposit, right? And the rest of the months, even if they don't have a guarantor, we help them to make it on a monthly basis. So the students, most of them are looking for part-time jobs once they land there, right? So they can easily pay those money from their part-time salaries, whatever they're getting.
Okay, that's interesting. But
Yeah.
they'll route it via your.
Yeah.
Exactly, they're paying to us. Yes,
Okay, so y'all are
So
per se the guarantor.
yeah, the
exactly.
middleman, the guarantor, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're the guarantor. Yeah. So,
Mm.
can you specifically tell us one like feedback or one success story that you all received from a student after they went through y'all and had a booking over there, and they a pleasant story that they had to say because Autumn Rooms provided that service to them.
Yeah, sure. So, of course, all of our movements are success. It has to be success. That's the key area we work on. All of the students has to be happy, right? But few of the key stories I would like to highlight is something that happened in a few of the cities, right? It was very famous in the newspapers. Where students were staying in tents in a city called North Bay in Canada,
Oh
right?
wow.
Well, so so the problem is it's a tier 3 city, right? Where there are no much student accommodation, like purposely built student accommodation, right? So student has to find private houses, and private houses was going through a huge crisis in Canada at that time, right? So
Yes.
students were literally sleeping on tents on various roadways, pathways, and all, right? So that's what caught our attention. We thought it's morally responsible for us to, solve that issue. And we were, luckily, alhamdulillah, we were happy to add a lot of bed spaces in that area, right? And we had students crying and moving to the property at midnights, right? Where we employed our team to work extra hours, late nights as well to facilitate those movings. And it's been 2 3 years, I think, 2 years, and those students are still living in our property. So that's one of the success stories which I would like to emphasize. And also recently in Ireland, where the properties are sold out for September 2024 completely, right? So
Okay.
now they are taking bookings for September 2025, right? So students from subcontinent, India, Bangladesh, all those areas, right? The problem they have is they can't pre-book a property without getting the visas. So visas are only coming in at the last moment, right? By August end or something. So it doesn't make sense for them to pre-book it. Other like European students who have pre-booked the previous year, right? So there's a huge crisis which is going to happen in September, right? For the students who are reaching Ireland, especially cities like Galway, Limerick, Cork, Dublin, right?
Yes.
So we have added. We've been lucky enough to add a lot of properties there. Close to 300 bed spaces been added as of now, and we are adding more properties in coming days there. So that is going to be really helpful for students. Those are the areas where we take pride in, Olivia, rather than having 1,000 bed spaces or 2,000 bed spaces. That we take pride in those 100 or 200 bed spaces where we were able to help those students, and that's been our key points of success. Yes.
That's actually, I was pretty surprised to hear people were living in tents in Canada, and you'll actually have enough information to be intuitive about what could be a crisis, and you can try averting it for several people. That's something to actually take pride in. That's a really good job you're doing there. But
That's true.
my next question being, what can we expect from Autumn Rooms in the future? Like, what innovations or developments are you all bringing up, which we can look forward to and be excited about in the student housing space?
Future is in tech. It's AI, as we all know, right? So we've been bringing in. We have hired a good AI team in our tech team. So we are working on a model where we are able to speed up the process of acquiring more properties in key areas, right? but there are crises, serious crises of student accommodation, right? So with the model that we are working on currently, we are able to filter out the properties which are suitable for students, which will be suitable for students, right? And based on the earnings which is received from the previous students in those cities, we are able to calculate what will be the right rental figure, the dynamic pricing thing, which will be helpful for them, right? So we're working on a model where in a real time we are able to get a data where the properties available and what will be the right rent for the students, for it to make them affordable, right? See, some cities are there where the students are earning just £1,000 or €1,000, right? And the rents are much more than that. That doesn't make any sense for us, right?
Yes.
So, the students that are going out of their family are mostly trying to be independent, right? That's not something which where they have to call their parents every month and ask for money, right? So
Yes.
we are trying to work on a model that helps the students to find properties which fits the budget of that local cities. That's a key area we've been working really hard on, and hopefully you'll be able to see that sooner again.
No, I will keep tabs on y'all, and I will make sure to see what's going on in this market, because we're actually coming up with a community for student housing on our platform as well. So
Wow.
yeah, so we have to keep in touch with this industry, because we believe that this industry is really up and coming, and it is very promising, because India needs to get educated. I know everybody in the world needs to get educated, but India is really getting educated, and there is a lot of space in this industry to grow for everyone. But I have a last question for you all, or more like a takeaway. What would you like to probably say to your viewers or audience, whoever watches this video, about how to better the process of booking online? Because you'd know, so you could tell us.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear the last word that you said. There was some. Can you say that again?
Yeah, sorry, it's actually very windy here in
No,
Mumbai
I
because
understand.
it's raining, so it rattles. So my question being, what is a key takeaway that you would want to probably tell the audience, or be it the tenants or be it the landlords, that how to be more proactive in booking for student housing online?
Yeah, sure. So that's a very good question, which I keep on educating our students as well, right? And friends and families as well. One thing for the students who are not going to study abroad is that that's some experience that everyone should get in their life, to get out of their comfort zone, go to those countries and explore, right? The experience that you get there, it's uncomparable. It's not just because, it's a beautiful country, or it's a good place to be. It's not just because of that. It's about getting out of your comfort zone, right? And staying away from your family where you've been well fed, well taken care, going there and taking care of your own thing. That what shapes you up, right? Number one. Number two, for the students who are already planning to go, book your properties ahead, right? I mean, you will get your visas too. So the success rates of getting your visas are very high, usually from India, right? UK is having more than 95% of visa success rate. Canada is having more than 90%. So getting a visa and education or admission, it's not the main thing, right? You have to make sure you have the facility once you land there, whether it be airport pickup or getting a property, right? Getting the right community to be in. They have to pre-plan that a lot earlier rather than the traditional way. Yeah, that's the key thing which I would love to tell my people.
Okay, so we're very excited for you all. Best of luck on your journey. May you all prosper, and may we see a lot of more Indian startups in this arena, because I know it's a very up and coming industry in India, and I think we're going to clear a lot of benchmarks. And thank you for taking the time talking to us, Mohammed. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, Arshad. It has
Thank you.
your insights have been invaluable, especially with how much Arshad has gone on and on about what Autumn Rooms is all about. And
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into PropTech Buzz, the first platform that integrates the power of products, leadership, community, and media to create a unique ecosystem for all things PropTech. Thank you.
Fantastic, Olivia. Thank you, Olivia.